Good evening, dear viewers, and welcome to the News Bulletin at 8, brought to you by number one news provider, Eswatini TV. I am Nondomiso Vilagata alongside Nomagabison Kambule, and here are your top stories. Government has instituted an investigation into the death of the human rights lawyer Thulani Masego. The Minister of Public Works and Transport says the SADC region needs to invest into the aviation space for it to reap the many benefits that are in the sector. The Minister of ICT says data protection laws are key to the country's economic development. The news. Government has instituted an investigation into the death of human rights lawyer Thulani Masego. According to the Deputy Prime Minister, Senator Themba Masuku, the police will leave no stone unturned until they bring the suspects to book. Masuku has also sent a stern warning to individuals and organizations who are posting fabricated and false information regarding the killers of Masego.
We wish to express our deepest condolences to the Maseko family in the passing of their son, a father and a brother. May his soul rest in eternal peace. The Royal Eswatini Police Service is treating this matter with the utmost seriousness and has launched an investigation. As this case is already under active investigation, we wish to caution those who are spreading false allegations and misinformation to desist from doing so. This has the potential of jeopardizing the investigation. Police investigators need time and undivided focus when doing their job with the help of the community and general public for a swift, transparent, and comprehensive outcome.
And again, the government of the Kingdom of Eswatini is worried about the escalating trends of crime and criminality in the country. According to the ongoing violence affects preparations for dialogue.
Alongside the killings, the Kingdom has also witnessed arson attacks that have led to millions of emalangeni in damages and losses on government, businesses, and individuals' infrastructure, resulting in a negative impact on the political and socio-economic development of the country. Government has noted with concern that there are individuals and organizations who are intent on spreading disinformation. Government has not hired any mercenaries. However, there are security experts that have been engaged to assist with certain aspects of the country's security issues. Government notes the need for a national dialogue involving all Emaswati. This position has not changed. We reiterate government's commitment to holding a peaceful, open, and fair national dialogue.
The Taiwan Embassy in Eswatini has donated a Toyota GD6 to the Eswatini Diplomatic Police. The vehicle was received by the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Tulsile Dladla, who says Taiwan has assisted the country in many different sectors.
Taiwan Ambassador in Eswatini, Jeremy Liang, when handing over the motor vehicle, said the motor vehicle donation indicates the good relationship between Eswatini and Taiwan.
I feel deeply about the excitement that our protocol officers and division of the police forces, when they heard about they're going to have a new car exclusively for the protocol.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Tulsile Dladla, appreciates the donation.
I was very much concerned about the type of vehicle that the diplomatic police was using. The support that we have been getting from the Republic of China, Taiwan, has benefited the country in many ways. And the development that we see in the country partly comes from our friends and partners, from our Taiwanese friends and the people of Taiwan.
The National Commissioner of Police, William Tsinzibala Dlamini, says the service will make good use of the motor vehicle.
This is not the first time we've donated to the police service. We've had many precious donations coming from you. You are indeed a brother to us all.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation's House of Assembly Portfolio Committee Chairperson, who is also Madlangempi's Member of Parliament, Sibusiso Nxumalo, says the good work being done by Taiwan in the country does not go unnoticed. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, with Vuminkosi Nzinisa Mbabane.
The Minister for Public Works and Transport, Chief Ndlahlaza Ndwandwe, says the SADC region needs to invest into the aviation space for it to reap the many benefits that are in the sector. The minister was speaking when officially opening the SADC Civil Aviation Committee meeting that is currently underway at the Hilton Garden Inn in Mbabane in the Kingdom of Eswatini.
Minister Ndlaluhlaza Ndwandwe welcomed aviation director generals and delegates from 10 SADC member states for the first special sitting of the SADC Civil Aviation Committee. The sitting had deliberations on aviation-related matters impacting on the region, which include enhanced aviation safety.
Significant progress will be achieved towards attaining the objectives of the interim SASO once the matters being considered by the current sitting of CAC are concluded. Being mindful of the mechanisms and strategies towards the implementation of the Global Aviation Safety Plan, the interim SASO activities are aimed at contributing towards facilitating for percentage increase in effective implementation of ICAO standards and recommended practices.
SADC Civil Aviation Committee Chairperson Jean Mpunga Chiwamba says, as chair, he will endeavor to execute the role with diligence to guide the members in chartering the SADC region towards implementing high standards in aviation safety.
Merci beaucoup.
We are mandated to play a critical role in ensuring compliance to the Global Aviation Safety Plan. This will foster growth of commercial air transportation. The meeting will run for 2 days. On the second day, deliberations on the draft ISASO financial plan will be held.
ICT Princess Sikhanyiso says data protection laws are key to the country's economic development. The minister has been speaking during the launch of the Eswatini Data Protection Act of 2022 on Thursday, where she was represented by the Principal Secretary at the Ministry, Phesheya Dube.
Last year, March, the Parliament of the Kingdom of Eswatini passed the Eswatini Data Protection Act. On Thursday, the Minister of Information, Communications and Technology hosted data stakeholders to launch the Act and designate the Eswatini Communications Commission as the Eswatini Data Protection Authority. Speaking during the launch, the Minister of ICT, Her Royal Highness Nkosazana Sikhanyiso, said data protection laws are key to the country's development, and she was represented by the PS at the Ministry, Phesheya Dube.
This is all new for the country, and as you implement the data protection requirements, you will realize that it is for our own good and for the good of the country, and will reinvigorate consumer trust in our processes, as well as boosting investor confidence.
Chief Executive Officer of the Eswatini Communications Commission, Mvilawempi Dlamini, assured the safety of personal data for all.
As the newly established Data Protection Authority, our vision is to be relevant and be an effective regulatory body, which will create an open society in which individuals feel confident that their right to personal data protection is safeguarded, while also enjoying their right to freedom of information.
The launch was also a celebration of the International Data Protection Day. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Samgal Suekoza with Sikumbuzo Dlamini, Ezulwini.
The Ministry of Economic Planning and Development Principal Secretary Thapsile Mlangeni says the ongoing Russian-Ukraine war has elevated strain in cost of living and further dampening domestic household spending. Mlangeni was speaking during the Economics Association of Eswatini's economic seminar at the Mountain View in Babane.
The seminar hopes to look at impact of the Russia-Ukraine conflict on Eswatini. It also hopes to assess the war's nature, extent and policy response options. Economics Association of Eswatini Chairperson Professor Mike Matsebula elaborates.
These shocks cover economic growth, monetary sector, fiscal balances, energy prices, consumer price inflation, food security, human migration, and climate changes.
United Nations Development Programme resident representative in Eswatini was represented by Solomon Buka.
We know that Eswatini is a net importer of cereals, mostly maize, rice, and oil, with imports satisfying about 3/4 of domestic consumption needs, and thus suffered the rise in the price of commodities following the Ukraine war.
The Minister of Economic Planning and Development Principal Secretary Thapsile Mlangeni was represented by the Ministry's Chief Economics, Sifiso Mamba.
In the domestic economy, costs of production have been on the rise, owing to the high cost of intermediate inputs, in particular fuel. Moreover, consumer inflation surged to average 5.8% year-on-year in the second half of 2022, up from an average of 3.8% in the first half of the year, mainly due to food and energy prices.
The Economics Association of Eswatini seminar was held for the 7th time by Eswatini TV News Fortune Dlangamandla with Vuminkosi Nzinisa Mbabane.
Former Spofaneni Member of Parliament Kundwane Gameze died 7 months after accepting Jesus Christ as his Lord and Savior. This was revealed by his pastor at Spofaneni Evangelical Church, Todi Gameze. This was also echoed by the deceased brother Richard Gameze.
Sipofaneni, former Member of Parliament Kundwane Gameze, died on Wednesday on his way back from buying Keklis. According to the deceased brother Richard, the former lawmaker suffered a stroke while driving his motor vehicle. He says fortunately someone who was in his company managed to control the motor vehicle. He adds that he was rushed to hospital where he was declared dead upon arrival.
Utsite naka asusa le moto ayisusa sahambe tangala sebetangala nalomuntu nalomunye bekamniki lift lomunye mali nabathi bayisusa nje imoto isuke igijime kakhulu bethuke labantu kanti lamgibelisile mduna ulayicelene wasesobamba lesitelingi nasi nje iyagcina ke ingakaphumi la ikhona beyema ke base bathi hawo wasesoyalala la iduke stealing kwaba ngilapho abakaze bakhulumela uthona ukuthi labaphinze bakhuluma.
Sipofaneni Evangelical Church leader Pastor Todi Gameze says the former lawmaker accepted Jesus Christ as his Savior in June last year. He adds that somehow Gameze knew he will live because of his good deeds.
Tintfo lebekadenda vele ungazisibetjengisa lokho ukuthi uyati lokho ukuthi akasenaso sikhathi belilikhulu kakhulu ligalelo lakhe enkonzweni kakhulu ebekesethe isikhathi esithi nangikhumbula kahle ungathi usitakale kuboJune lomnyaka lophelile.
When Eswatini TV News visited the homestead of the deceased at around 3 p.m., his family members were still deliberating on funeral arrangements. Mourners were seen leaving the homestead. Gameze was the longest-serving legislator as he was Sipofaneni Member of Parliament for 4 terms, having served 20 years, starting from 1998 to 2018. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, with Muzi Mkhonta Sipofaneni.
The Conciliation, Mediation and Arbitration Commission, CIMAC, says the COVID-19 pandemic brought about changes in the workplace. According to the CIMAC's board chairperson, Mzwandile Dlamini, employers and employees are supposed to ensure that their working environment is normal post-COVID-19. Next month, the commission will hold its annual labor law seminar.
23rd next month, the Conciliation, Mediation and Arbitration Commission, CIMAC, will hold its annual labor law seminar themed The Changing World of Work Post-COVID-19. It will address the now and the future in terms of labor laws. The chairperson of CIMAC, Mzwandile Dlamini, says it will ensure disputes in the workplace are addressed quickly and properly.
We continue to steadfastly do a lot of work, which means some of those discussions that comes from those conferences to learn from other people, and we found ourselves having been able to deliver on our mandate, which is always to make sure which is accessible to Eswatini, see structures a dispute mechanism less quick for those that need us. We are trying to be relevant with the times. Now we're saying the changing world of work post-COVID, how do businesses survive?
Dlamini says the seminar will bring together social partners, labor employers, employment relations specialists, HR practitioners, union officials, employers and employees, amongst others, who will be in attendance during the labor seminar. Reporting I'm Kian MCB with Smuva Shongwe at the City Court in Babane.
Dear viewers, now take a look at our financial updates. Welcome back. You're still watching Eswatini TV, and for your sports news tonight, the Bruce Diabetic Foundation has donated tennis equipment to Rema, a home to the underprivileged children in Manzini. The foundation donated equipment that includes tennis balls, rackets and nets. Speaking during the handover ceremony, the founder of Bruce Diabetic, founder Bruce Gama, says as a foundation they want to see then lend a hand into the growth of tennis in the country and played and hopefully produce the next Bruce Gama. Their home houses are have around 34 kids. In the football, the Women Football Association, in partnership with the Ministry of Health, has launched a one-day tournament that will be played this coming weekend at Njabulweni Private School in Manzini. The tournament will be divided into two groups. There will be games for the corporate sector, which will have 8 teams, and the Elite League, where 10 teams are expected to be part of the tournament. The games will be played in a 7-a-side format. The tournament's main purpose is to encourage women to screen for cancer. The tournament was launched at Sugwaqa House in Babane. That is all we had for tonight, but before we wrap up, we'll take a quick recap of today's headlines. Government has instituted an investigation into the death of the human rights lawyer Thulani Masego. The Minister of Public Works and Transport says the SADC region needs to invest into the aviation space for it to reap the many benefits that are in the sector. The Minister of ICT says data protection laws are key to the country's economic development. That brings us to the end of our news bulletin tonight. Up next is the weather forecast for selected towns. Good night, Eswatini.
At Spar, we're here for you with 3 days of super deals and incredible savings across the store. Get Nescafe Classic Coffee for just $74.99 and Nestle Cremora for only $34.99. It's 3 days of incredible savings only at Spar.
My name is Nogwazi Dlamini. Very, very exciting. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you the top 10